Major League Baseball welcomes you to the following presentation of the Kansas City Royals.
Well, contrary to how it might have felt after last night, the sun did in fact rise in Kansas City today. And so we have a brand new game, a brand new day. Game 2 of this series between the Kansas City Royals and the Baltimore Orioles. And with all that said, last night's 7-5 loss in extra innings was as frustrating as they come. Post-game thoughts from Salvador Perez and Bobby Witt Jr.
Get ready, prepare yourself, and compete every day. I think that's the best thing we can learn on this. They can take it two ways. You keep going down or make you a better player, and get out this quick as we can.
Everyone wants to be the guy to get the hit. Everyone wants to. So it's just trying to go up there with a mindset of you're facing a guy that's trying to take yours, and you just got to go up there and compete. Go up there and grind and put together a good at-bat and do it for the team. And just go up there and just really enjoy the moment. And so get back to pressure is a privilege. Be there. It's an opportunity to help the team. If you don't do it, know that your guy behind you is going to do it. And that's just the mindset we got to have.
Thanks for joining us at Kauffman Stadium tonight with Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. I'm Jake Eisenberg. Bridget Howard will join us in just a moment. We just heard from the captain and the superstar. Now to the Royals Hall of Famer. What say you, Jeff Montgomery?
Well, it's one of those tough situations. You're aware of it as a player. You have to address it because you're asked that question so many times by guys like us, but you also know that you have a job to do. And I think that's what I really took from what Bobby Witt had to say. Hey, I can go out there and be myself, understand what your game is, know what you can do to help your team win a baseball game, and that's really what it's all about.
So we take a look at our Liberty Mutual Insurance field coverage. This is just a little recap of this 8-game losing streak and the 6 games in which the Royals lost by 2 or fewer runs and had a lead or were tied in the late innings in all of this, which is all to say, if you're looking for the slimmest of silver linings, these are close games. The Royals are, in fact, right there, excruciating as it may be. The Royals have given themselves a chance in this stretch more often than not. At times, it has been the little things that have made the difference, and the Royals try to flip that script and end this 8-game slide tonight. On the mound, it's left-hander Kris Bubic for the Royals tonight. It's righty Shane Baz on the bump for the Orioles. We'll take a look at the pitching matchup right after this. Another beautiful evening at Kauffman Stadium, and the Royals are trying to even up this 3-game series against the Baltimore Orioles. 2 pitchers that each team has seen a couple of times on the mound tonight. It's Bubic for the Royals, Baz for the Orioles. Bubic had 2 wins against the Orioles last season, and you see did not allow an earned run, 11 strikeouts and 11 2/3 innings. It was 2 starts for Bubic against the Orioles, 2 really good starts. A little bit of a different story for Shane Baz. The first time that the Royals saw him, the Royals handed him one of the worst performances of his career. He gave up 7 runs on 9 hits in 5 2/3 innings, but Baz did get revenge the next time he took the mound. About a month and a half later, the best start of his career, 8 shutout innings with 9 strikeouts. So who carries the day today? Bubic and Baz on the bump. Game 2, Royals and Orioles, up next. Ball is presented by your Kansas City Toyota dealers. Take a test drive today and save bucks on trucks. And by FanDuel Sportsbook. Play your game. It is another perfect night for baseball at Kauffman Stadium. 76 degrees and more gorgeous pictures from our drone camera up above the K. Tonight, the Royals try to snap an 8-game slide. They enter at 7-16. The Orioles are 11-12. Here's the Orioles starting lineup, and you see Adley Rutschman hitting third. He's back in the lineup for the first time since 10 days ago Friday, when he wound up on the injured list with an ankle injury. So the Orioles have one of their main bats back in action. Outside of that, a lot of right-handed hitters against lefty Kris Bubic tonight.
Well, that's the story. When Kris Bubic pitches, you're obviously going to see a ton of righties in that lineup. Essentially try to equalize that changeup against the lefties.
It has been mostly up, but up and down overall for Bubic this season. A 3.97 ERA. The last start against the Tigers was his shortest start of the season, 4 2/3 innings, and it gave up a season-high 5 runs on 6 hits.
Yeah, he's been. I talked about the changeup. He's got a tremendous changeup so far this year. No hits allowed on that changeup. And the sinking fastball has been an outstanding pitch for Kris Bubic. It's been great to watch him really evolve over his career and see what he does. And he's not an overpowering pitcher, but take a look at that 4-seam fastball. This is a pitch that he throws a fair amount of the time, but the velocity is really deceptive because he's got elite spin on that 4-seam fastball. Probably the 91 looks more like 95, and that's our StatCast 3D powered by Google Cloud. Well, we'll take a look at some defense behind Kris Bubic tonight. Pretty similar to what we've been seeing from the Royals, and Isaac Collins another opportunity. Jack Caglione still looks great out there in right field, and hey, Michael Massey going to get a lot of playing time with Jonathan India on the IL.
And our umpires for tonight's game, there's Adrian Johnson. He's the crew chief. He's over at first base tonight, and Brock Ballou moves behind home plate. He calls balls and strikes. Paul Clemens at second base, and Quinn Wolcott is our umpire tonight at third. So that last start for Bubic, the 5 runs on 6 hits allowed, 4 2/3 innings. What really stood out, Monty, was the lack of swing and miss. He only got 5 whiffs in that start. All of them were on the changeup, but there were 0 swings and misses against his 4-seam fastball, which has been one of his most effective pitches the last couple of years.
Well, he was pitching behind a lot in that game. He got it behind. You can see that less than 50% first pitch strikes. He's always better than that. He's always 55-60% on first pitch strikes. I'd love to see him do that here tonight.
Now, pitchers will tell you that getting ahead is the key. Strike 1 is most often the key, no matter who you're facing. And Bubic begins his night facing Taylor Ward, who had a double and a couple of walks in last night's 12-inning game. He doubled in the first inning. That was the Orioles' only hit until the 9th. And Bubic begins with ball 1. Ward is in the leadoff spot. That's where he's been most often when the Orioles have faced lefties. And he has really prided himself on his pitch selection early on this season. That spray to the right side. Pasquantino's in perfect position. And a fine feed for the first out.
Yeah, really good start for Kris Bubic. Nice play by Vinny Pasquantino over there. And when they're hitting the atom balls, that's a sign of good things to come. And sure enough, Bubic does his job getting over to first exactly the way you scripted.
So 1 up, 1 down for Bubic. And he now faces the only lefty, Monty, in the Orioles lineup, Gunnar Henderson.
I'm sure Gunnar Henderson had a game last night that he would really like to forget, even though the Orioles won that game.
0 for 4, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks, but both times he walked, he got picked off first base. And there's a shallow flare. Isbell is underneath it. 2 gone.
Gotta like the efficiency so far. Kris Bubic trusting his stuff, attacking the hitters, allowing the defense to do their work.
4 pitches, 2 outs, 2 strikes, 2 outs. He's been behind each of the first 2 hitters, 1 ball, no strikes. And now Adley Rutschman, a switch hitter, back in the lineup for the first time since April 11th, when he kind of pulled up on a double against the Giants, wound up with an ankle injury. He'd been off to a really good start overall for the Orioles, and that was after a disappointing year for him last year when he was limited to 90 games. He had an oblique injury on each side last season. And that's line to left. So Rutschman's back on the active roster with a base hit.
Take a look at the replay on this. It looked like maybe a sweeper that Chris Bubic tried to get maybe inside or down and in on him, and Rutschman just stayed right with it, pulls that ball into left field.
And there is ball one on Pete Alonso. So early on, Monty, that's 4 batters faced, only 1 first pitch strike.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to want to look to improve on that efficiency as far as the first pitch. Get ahead strikes.
On the ground is short. And Bobby Witt Jr. goes the short way, inning over. A nice quiet top of the first inning for Bubic. Michael Garcia, Bobby Witt Jr., Vinny Pasquantino due up. To the leadoff, it is the same batting order for the Royals tonight, though Salvador Perez is back behind the plate and Carter Jensen is now the designated hitter. And even though it did come in a loss last night, 5 runs on 14 hits, though most of that came late, the Royals last night did strand 16 total on base and went 5 for 21 with runners in scoring position. Tonight their challenge is righty Shane Baz, who so far in his Oriole career has a .491 ERA, Monty.
Well, the Royals have seen him a little bit when he was with Tampa Bay, so should some familiarity there with him.
It's a very methodical delivery for 26-year-old Shane Baz. The Royals saw him twice last season. Pounced on him once, 7 runs on 9 hits, and then second time around, Baz threw 8 shutout innings.
Yeah, that's one thing you'll notice about Baz and his delivery. It's very, very deliberate. He doesn't have a lot of movement, not a lot of motion, just stays right, focused on the batter.
Basically the opposite of Seth Lugo last night. There's that cutter. Going to see a lot of those tonight from Baz.
That cut fastball cutter is a really good pitch for him.
That's hit well deep to left field. Ward has it lined up and just shy of the track. He makes the catch.
Let's take a look at his lefty-righty pitch arsenal. Notice on the right-handed batters many more cutters, and you mentioned that we'll see a lot of the cutters against the right-handers tonight. Doesn't really throw the changeup at all to the righties, but he does on that lefty.
And to paraphrase HUD, that four-seam fastball, highly flammable.
It can be flammable.
Sharply hit toward third. Weston Wilson is there to make the play. 2 outs.
Orioles featuring a little different defense tonight. See Kobe Mayo over at first base. Jeremiah Jackson has been a great find for these guys, filling in for Jackson Holiday, and Weston Wilson back over at third where he finished the game last night.
And also Adley Rutschman back behind the plate. It was Samuel Basallo last night who was very impressive.
Yeah, needless to say, the Orioles feel pretty good about their catching position when both of those players are healthy.
You know, talking to some of the people on the Orioles side today, that was by far Basallo's best game last night, defensively and offensively. Not that the Royals should take any solace in that.
Well, we know the Royals had a lot of runners on third base last night, and Basallo probably, I'm going to say, half dozen times blocked balls that were not easy blocks to prevent runs from scoring.
It all amounted to, in fact, 20 total blocked pitches from Basallo last night. He was busy. Down the left field line, and Wilson angles over into foul territory, and he makes the grab. And so both starters have 8-pitch scoreless first innings.
with pitching coach Brian Sweeney earlier today and reminded him that it was 3 years ago today that the Royals announced that Kris Bubic would be undergoing Tommy John surgery. Talking about his journey and more importantly, having a front row seat to it, he said seeing him and how he went about his business, going through the rehab process and how he had a plan. He was curious and stuck to a lot of the things that we talked about and came out on the other side like the same guy. He knew it was going to be a long journey, and then once he got to that other side, was able to see the benefits of all the hard work. He learned a lot about his body, a lot about his mind and who he was as a pitcher and who he wanted to be during that Tommy John process. I asked him what he felt like Kris's confidence was fully back. He told me it was probably more that bullpen year in 2024. He really integrated himself into the bullpen, and all of a sudden he's pitching high leverage with a mindset and a simple mindset of emptying the tank. And then he took that to the next year and into the starting rotation. It was just an easy transition. Now, Monty, we've heard Kris talk about that bullpen mindset. How have you seen that help him out as he's eased back into this starter role last year and into this year?
Well, I think the biggest thing is the ability to go out and just be yourself and be on the attack. Be very aggressive in the strike zone. As a reliever, that's an essential, and it really carries over to Kris as a starting pitcher as well. I heard you talk about how he learned a lot about himself. I went back to my shoulder surgery I had mid-career. I learned a lot about my mechanics, a lot about myself during that rehab process. So Kris Bubic, very similar situation.
That's really good perspective. Thanks very much, Bridget. Jeremiah Jackson's fouled off 3 of the 4 pitches he's seen. And now he shoots one past shortstop, and it's a leadoff single for Jackson in the second. When you think back to that relief stint for Kris Bubic in 2024, it culminated in the playoffs. American League Wild Card Series against these Orioles. He got holds in each of those 2 games, throwing a scoreless 8th inning, and then was off and running in an All-Star 2025.
And you're worried about an inning and not innings generally in that role as a relief pitcher, so you don't have to be too overwhelmed with regards to what are you going to do next time around. You want to focus on that batter this plate appearance and do your job in making him either get himself out or get him out by yourself.
You know, I remember a couple of years ago when Will Smith was a member of the bullpen. He was going through his struggles over the course of the season and ultimately started pitching in slightly lower leverage than the high leverage that he was pitching in early on in the year. And he said something really interesting and I think important about the way that he thought about his role at that time, which was that he might not be the closer of the game, but he was the closer of his own inning. And I think that Kris took that mentality in 2024 and has now used that as a starter where he's the closer of his own inning. It just happens to be each of the first, hopefully 6 or 7 innings of the night.
Right. We're more of a short-term focus than thinking long-term down the road 4, 5, 6 innings from now.
2 balls and a strike on Weston Wilson. Wilson's one of the handful of players that the Orioles have in the lineup and on the roster in the wake of a lot of injuries to their regulars. For Wilson in particular, he was called up when Ryan Mountcastle went on the injured list with a foot fracture. Mountcastle is going to be out for a while. And the Orioles are also without their regular third baseman, Jordan Westberg. They were without Adley Rutschman until today. Heston Kjerstad is on the injured list. Jackson Holliday is on the injured list. It's a bit of a different group than maybe Craig Albernaz, Orioles manager, expected. So our injury report update brought to you by the University of Kansas Health System. Jackson Holliday has not played in the big leagues this year. And in fact, tonight, Monty, in his rehab game with AAA Norfolk, he was removed from the game due to right hand soreness.
And that's not good for a hamate bone surgery they have. It's that little bone in the hand wrist area that a lot of players for some reason end up with injuries and fractures in that particular bone.
Now Holliday started a rehab assignment in AAA, then that got paused. Then he had some hand soreness on the opposite side of where the hamate bone was. Rehab assignment restarted recently, and now it seems to be paused potentially again. Two and two on Wilson. Is about to see a 7th pitch. And that is already 5 foul balls against Bubic in this inning.
Seen a little bit of everything. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't throw a changeup right here, down and away, maybe get him to fish, ground ball.
He went with the sweeper, and Wilson hooks it into Crafton draft.
Take a look. He's seen the four-seamer, the changeup, more four-seamers and changeups, and then the sweeper. So he's thrown a little bit of everything at him so far. A lot you can do, but I think the most important thing here, you're looking to focus to get a ground ball. You want something down in the zone.
2-2 again. And a touch inside. Well, Bubic has already thrown the same number of pitches this plate appearance as he threw in all of the first inning combined. And he walked him. Tip your cap to Weston Wilson. That is a really good plate appearance.
Chris Bubic not happy with himself at all. I know this game he wanted to really focus on getting back to being more of a strike thrower than what he threw in his last game, where he was not anywhere close to his norm or his average with ball to strike ratio.
There's 82 pitches for Bubic against the Tigers. 46 of them, only 46 for strikes. Leody Taveras bunts foul. He did the exact opposite of bunt in the 12th inning last night.
This was a devastating blow to the Royals. 4 runs, 1 swing of the bat. He killed the rally, but he won the game.
Yeah, those homers can be such rally killers, can't they? Well, the Orioles put up 5 runs in the top of the 12th. And while the Royals scored 3 in the bottom of the inning, not enough, and the Royals lost 7-5. Another foul bunt attempt, 0-2. Quite the high-scoring game for a game that, with 2 outs and 2 strikes in the top of the 9th, was a 1-run game, 1-0.
One of the longest games, both by innings as well as by minutes played, too. That I can remember since they've had the placed runner rule in the extra innings.
And with the pitch clock, too, it was almost a 4-hour game. And alas for the Royals, it was an 8th consecutive loss in what has been a very frustrating stretch. Two and 2. Bubic is about to throw his 20th pitch this inning. The Orioles were much more aggressive in the top of the first. Every hitter top of the first inning only saw 2 pitches. But now Leody Taveras is about to see a 7th pitch. Weston Wilson saw 9. Jeremiah Jackson saw 5 to start the inning. Into center, and Isbell's right there.
Well, that was not an easy out for Chris Bubic, but at least he got the out. Not efficient, but effective.
He has not quite been able to put away any of the hitters. There have been 10 foul balls in this inning. 6 of them have come with 2 strikes.
And this Orioles team, I mean, pretty similar last night. They find a way to fight back into the counts.
Well, maybe there's a slight change in their approach the last couple of days, because they entered this series as an offense with the highest strikeout rate in baseball, and a strikeout rate that got even higher with runners in scoring position, which is the situation now for Kobe Mayo.
I don't know exactly how many last night. We had 1-2, 0-2 counts, and it seemed like they would fight back into those plate appearances and work a walk or work a long AB.
And now Mayo slices one toward the right field corner. Long run for Jack Caglione, and it's into the wall, and so is Cags. I'll tell you what, though, in a battle between a wall and Jack Caglione, I'm taking Jack Caglione.
I don't like seeing him do that too often. I mean, that's dangerous. You don't want to lose a player on a ball that's not playable. I think he was afraid that was going to come back and get him on the coconut.
He's been trying to get that spot inside on righties, and it's been just in more often than not.
Yeah, he's thrown a number of pitches in that exact same location, just not kind of shaving off that inside corner.
Or a couple to Weston Wilson, 2 before that walk. So 3-1 now to Mayo. And that is crushed to the left field corner. If it stays fair, it's trouble. It is fair and trouble. That is a long 3-run homer for Kobe Mayo. His first home run of the season, and the Royals have an early 3-0 deficit.
Well, Jake, that was a no-doubter. As soon as it left the bat, the only doubt was, will it be fair or will it be foul? He tried to get that pitch. It's essentially the one we talked about he's been missing on, and Mayo did not miss on his swing at all. That was.
And the umpires might take a look at where this ball landed and whether or not it was in fact fair or foul. This is something that they have the discretion to review. Can also do so at the request of Matt Quatrero or Craig Albernaz, depending upon the situation. I don't know about you, Monty, but at least naked eye, it was a little bit tough to see exactly where it landed.
After review, the call on the field stands. Home run.
And the call stands, which, well, it wasn't confirmed. It tells you that while it was very much more likely than not actually fair, that they had some trouble telling too. Oh, you see the K in the Commerce Bank sign. Right above that is where the ball has fallen down there. That's a great shot. Thanks, guys. So not a great outcome. This has been a laborious inning for Bubic. And all this after an 8-pitch top of the first inning. I guess if it hits Commerce Bank, it's fair.
I always watch the hitter. The hitter generally will let you know if it's going to be fair or foul. If he's running down the first base line, he's got a pretty good feel that it's a fair ball.
Bubic's 30th pitch this inning. And it's another foul ball.
Yeah, we can tell he knows, Mayo knows that that ball's fair. He's circling the bases.
He didn't even watch it land. And Bubic finally gets strike 3 on a swing and miss. That had been elusive.
You sense the frustration. You see it on Chris Bubic's face. This inning has been one that really a lot of work, and now the 3-run shot puts the Royals in a hole once again.
Now, before the home run, it was kind of death by paper cut. 31 pitches now in this inning, and There have been 13 foul balls.
Look at the first pitch strikes, only 3 out of 10. Not a good recipe for success for Chris Bubic, really any pitcher. You have to pitch ahead. You're pitching behind. Normally, bad things are going to happen. We just saw that here in the second inning.
2 balls, no strikes on Taylor Ward. He's 0 for 1 with a ground out. And here's why those first pitch strikes are important, or simply being ahead in the count is important. Ahead in the count, opponent average 185, and that chase rate is nearly double to what it is behind in the count, which is where Bubic has been most of the evening. And that is his second walk of this inning, and it would not be surprising to see Brian Sweeney pop out of the dugout. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, that four-seam fastball, he just cannot seem to locate that pitch in an effective spot. A lot of takes on that pitch, just inside, just off the plate to the right-handed batters.
So a conversation for Bubic. Here's a message from your Kansas City Toyota dealers.
Dear Friday, let's put good times in gear. Toyota trucks. Toyota. Let's go places.
Second time around for Gunnar Henderson. He's 0 for 1 with a flyout. Royals down 3-0 on Kobe Mayo's 3-run homer. And in Baltimore, they call that the Earl Weaver Special. What was it he said all the time? 3-run homer, best offense in baseball.
Best play in baseball.
Best
That's
play in
from
baseball.
Big John Mayberry. He would refer to it as a 3-run Jimmy John.
Plenty of those. Here's AB.
Called a ball. The catch is Salvi.
Nobody has been better at challenging than Salvi. There's why.
This is a strike. Kansas City shows 2 challenges remaining.
ABS powered by T-Mobile, and the count is now 0-2. Dribbler up the line. And Pasquantino is playing cat and mouse with Henderson. The inning is over. 38 pitches in a tough second for Bubic. From official jerseys and memorabilia to hats and hoodies, we got the season covered. Visit MLBshop.com/Royals, the official source for your Kansas City Royals gear. Salvador Perez leads off with the Royals down 3-0 in the second. Good to see Salvi back behind the plate too. He's catching for the first time since Friday. And he said over the weekend that he's been dealing with some right hip soreness. He did have 3 hits yesterday. He was 3 for 6. All of his hits were singles.
Seems maybe yesterday we'll get Salvador going. He blistered this ball for the infield single, a rare infield single for Salvi, then just plays the other way, and enough wood to get it in the outfield, and finally he hits a ball. He hit a ball hard that was caught, and then he gets a hard single as well. So, but I saw Salvi out here early today taking early batting practice, so that's a good sign as well that he feels like maybe something's starting to click.
On the ground is short, and Gunnar Henderson collects one away. You know, I did think, Monty, that Salvi's comments post-game last night were really interesting and really important. How he was talking about, look, there's no questioning what is happening, paraphrasing here. This is a tough stretch, but you can go one of 2 ways. You can either go down, you can either let it take you down, or you can become a better player. That's down the right field line. Extra bases for Carter Jensen. First hit of the night for the Royals.
Really good to see from Carter Jensen here. Gets that nice fastball in off the plate, but really quick bat.
Honestly, Monty, how did he even hit that? 97 down and in?
Well, he's got that quick bat, and that's really what it's all about for Carter Jensen. Not just for the home run power, but for exactly what we saw there with the extra base double.
Massey takes high for ball one. You can think about Salvi's comments both in the macro during the course of this losing streak this season. Also, Monty, I think you can think about it in the micro. You know, hey, you're down 3-0. You can either go down or you can step up. Those are the two paths.
Well, you took the words out of my mouth, because exactly what I was thinking. Hey, we're down here in the second inning, three runs. We can surrender, get through this game, come back tomorrow, or we can find a way to make things happen here yet this afternoon or this evening and find a way to win this baseball game.
Thought that might have hit Massey, but it went all the way to the backstop instead, and Jensen takes third. And I think Adley Rutschman might have thought that it clipped Massey too.
I thought it hit something.
It definitely hit the backstop.
Well, I mean, before it got to the backstop, it looked like it sounded like it hit something, put it that way.
Now, Albernaz is a little bit perplexed.
It hit his glove. That's what we heard. We heard his glove.
I mean, did Massey somehow just step out of the matrix? That was like a bullet going by Neo.
I think they're discussing what is the count.
Yeah. It should be 2 balls, 1 strike. Everybody's on the same page. Runner on third with 1 out. This is where you need a productive at-bat to bring in a run. This is something that has been elusive, and certainly was last night when the Royals stranded 16 on base and went 5 for 21 with runners in scoring position.
We'd love to have a crooked number in any inning, but right here, just get yourself back in the game with a productive out. There we go.
In the air to right. It forces Alexander back, very far back. He makes the catch on the track. That is plenty deep enough to bring in Carter Jensen, and Michael Massey gets it done. A sacrifice fly to cut into the Orioles lead.
Yeah, much needed production here. It's like that knuckle curveball stayed right there. And Michael Massey almost lifted this thing out of the ballpark, but at least very deep enough to get Carter Jensen across the plate with the sac fly.
Vinny Pasquantino loves it. You don't have to get all 3 or 4 all at once. Past the mound. Henderson on the charge. Gets rid of it quickly to end the inning. Well, the Royals get one back. A double, a wild pitch, a sac fly. 3-1, Orioles in front. For the newly mustachioed Michael Massey, the Royals get a run back. And now Monty, Chris Bubic retakes the mound. A 38-pitch second inning. What is the key for the third?
Maybe a 3-pitch, 3-out inning.
That would be great.
Let's get aggressive here. Get back in that strike zone like we saw in that first inning.
And there is strike 1. Vital.
I have a feeling the Orioles, after that first inning, said, let's make him throw some pitches. And they sure enough did that in the second inning, led to the walks and the run.
.38 pitches in that second inning. 22 of them were strikes. 14 of them were fouled off. So even though the Orioles weren't making solid contact outside of Mayo's homer, they were making enough contact to force Bubic to continue to throw a lot of pitches. That is the opposite of contact. Exactly what Bubic is looking for. His second strikeout tonight. Let's check in with Bridget.
Well, Pete Alonso coming up to the plate, and him and Jack Caglione, they may not share a clubhouse in the big leagues, but they do share the same roots. The two played at HB Plant High School in Tampa, Florida, one of the premier baseball factories in the country. Notable alumni like Wade Boggs, Kyle Tucker, and Jake Woodford. Alonso and Cags adding to that list. And not only that, they both played college ball at the University of Florida, and they've developed a great relationship over the years. Alonso actually invited Cags to train with him quite a bit this offseason, and Cags told me it's been great to have a mentor like him and just cool to have a person like that in your corner. I asked him what the biggest thing he's learned from Alonso is, and he said to look at things from the bigger picture. Don't get so caught up in the now. He's very bold, and he definitely says what's on his mind. He doesn't hold back, and that's one of the best things I like about him, you know? He's got to keep it real with you. He's not going to sugarcoat things, but it was really fun to watch Cags talk about Alonso. You could tell how much he looks up to him.
And right on cue, a ball hit Caglione's way. Pete Alonso has a single in front of his fellow Plant High School alum. That's great, Bridget. Thanks very much.
Jake, I read up a lot on Alonso coming in, and it's amazing what he's done on the charitable side for giving to others, and just an outstanding human being as well. As we heard the comments from what Bridget had heard from Jack Caglione.
One hopper to short, could be two. There's one. There's two. Inning over. Exactly what Chris Bubic needed. A very quick top of the third inning. Legacy seat tonight. Richard is a dedicated public servant, educator, and community volunteer. Served as a paramedic with the Cameron Ambulance District for 34 years. And as a firefighter paramedic with the Cameron Fire Department for 33 years. And in addition to his field work, Richard spent 30 years as an educator at Cameron Regional Medical Center, where he taught advanced cardiac life support and CPR. Literally life-saving stuff. Richard, thank you very much.
Yeah, no doubt. All the impact that he's had on people's lives, saving lives, educating people.
Great to have him at the ballpark in the Buck O'Neil Legacy seat. It's Isaac Collins to lead off the third for the Royals. He had a couple of hits last night. Pair of singles, 2 for 6 overall. Check swing and a one-hopper to third. And Wilson, who was already on the grass expecting a bunt, throws him out for the first down.
Boz has to feel like that was a gift, a 2-0 pitch, and probably didn't make a real good pitch, but in a place where the bat got in the way, and has a fairly easy out.
That was 3 straight four-seam fastballs to Isaac Collins. See what he goes with against Kyle Isbell. It was an interesting night for Izzy last night, don't you think? 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts. He did lay down an important sacrifice bunt in the 11th, and with 2 strikes at that, he got the bunt down. And the Royals did wind up scoring the game-tying run in that inning. Well, there was a moment earlier in the game when Izzy came up first and second, nobody out, and could not get the bunt down. He also played his usual sparkling defense. There was a great catch against Samuel Basayo when he slipped on the warning track and still somehow was able to make the grab.
Yeah, Izzy fun to watch play defense. He plays center field here at Kauffman Stadium really about as well as anybody can. I mean, he covers so much ground. He has tremendous jumps, and just gets to the place where the ball's going to land. It seems like every time he does, it's right there.
Could this be a Gold Glove year for Izzy? He was a finalist for a Gold Glove last year. And he serves a single to right.
patience from Izzy, waiting on his pitch, gets that knuckle curve ball. Pitch was up and didn't blister it, but had enough to get it into the outfield for the hit.
We've seen Kyle Isbell, Monty, be more aggressive on the bases too. 4 steals early on this season. He feels as though he's unleashed a little bit. And it's just a matter of the situation. You know, where he is in the lineup, when it turns back over, it's Garcia, Witt, Pasquantino. You don't need to necessarily get aggressive on the base paths when you already feel like you're in scoring position on first base.
Well, it tells me that his legs feel good. He's going to take some chances to get that extra 90 feet when he can.
Quickly 0-2 on Garcia. Looking forward to seeing those jerseys again on Friday. And Boz beats Garcia with a fastball. That was at 98. He had a little extra on that one.
He's got tremendous spin on that fastball. The only downside to his fastball, from what I've heard, is that they see it really well and oftentimes are able to catch up to it. Even though it has that elite velocity and spin, he doesn't hide it as well as some other pitchers do.
That was his fastest pitch of the night so far. Three-game hitting streak for Bobby Witt Jr. Entered tonight 5 for his last 11. That's laced to left center field. Isbell's off and running. He turns and heads for third. Bobby Witt Jr.'s into second. That's a hustle double.
Bobby hit this ball extremely hard into that gap to left center field. And as soon as it left the bat, you could tell he's thinking 2 bases off the get-go. This is not an ordinary double. Most players wouldn't even consider stretching a single into a double, but sure enough, Bobby Witt out there being Bobby Witt once again.
7 doubles now for him this season. And 2 in scoring position for Benny Pasquantino. Benny, it looked like he turned a corner this weekend. Homered in back-to-back games, had a 3-game hitting streak, but he is 0 for 12 since, including 0 for 4 last night. What are you seeing, Monty?
I see a long swing. Maybe not that different, but when you swing and miss, it just appears to be longer to me.
Is that a balk? Or is that a timer violation?
Violation,
it's a timer
yeah.
violation. So a 2-1.
I think Voss is so deliberate out there, he doesn't pay attention to the pitch clock.
The timer's already at 7 seconds. So now the 2-1. And that's shot foul 2-2. Well, that was a 99-mile-an-hour fastball. So Boz is rearing back. Pasquatch is trying to blow the doors off. Muscle back up the middle. Henderson's there. He plants and throws, and the inning is over. And the Royals strand a pair in scoring position. Still down by 2. We go to the 4th. Major League Baseball. And look at our Rally House Rally Cam showing off that sunset in Kansas City tonight. That is real. We did not paint that. That is actually what the sky looks like tonight. Wow. 3-1 game. Royals are down by 2. And there is a first pitch strike on Weston Wilson. It was really Monty Wilson's plate appearance that keyed that second inning. A 9-pitch walk, and he fouled off 3 pitches in that plate appearance.
Yeah, sometimes the little things really add up to big things. And if you're able to drive up the pitcher's pitch count, good things happen. Wears him down for later in the inning. Then you saw the Mayo home run following that.
This is Wilson's 5th game of the season. His first year with the Orioles after he spent some time with the Phillies. That was after he had spent a long time in the minors, over 700 minor league games before his debut. And that's into left center field, a leadoff hit for Wilson. So the Orioles have the leadoff man on for the second time in 4 innings.
Take a look at the 4-seam fastball. Pitch probably up a little bit from where Salvador would have liked to have had that as a round belt high. Something down or even up above that bat, much better than in the middle part of that zone.
Leody Taveras is 0 for 1. Hot start for him this year. Tried to bunt again. He tried that a couple times first time around, and they were all foul. So now 1-1. Very windy night here at the K. No doubt you've heard that before. Hang with him, Joe. Hang with him, John. Those cameras are bustling in the breeze out there. See a little bounce. Only so much you can do when it's whipping across the concourse. There's a foul tip on a heater. When Bubic is at his best, Monty, he's getting swings and misses underneath that high fastball.
Right, because that's a spin he gets, that induced vertical break that he gets. It makes it appear to be much faster than it actually is.
He's got some natural deception with his delivery. A little bit crossbody. He hides the ball well. Pitching coach Brian Sweeney's talked about his elite extension. So even though that fastball comes in the low 90s, it plays up a little bit. So it looks like it's coming faster, and then you've got that induced vertical break, that ride, that carry. He's gotten only 3 swings and misses on the fastball so far tonight. He did not have any whiffs on his fastball against the Tigers his last start. Off the end of the bat, Massey grabs it, and Wilson got back to first.
Here's tonight's Rally House moment that matters. Kobe Mayo, 3-run shot, second inning. Got the Orioles on the board.
That was his first home run of the season. He had 11 last year in his rookie year. Got him picked off. Perfect strike from Pasquantino. Tag applied. Got to be a little frustrating for former Royal Jason Bourgeois over there in the first base coach's box. That is the 3rd time an Oriole has been picked off in this series.
Yeah, just a textbook move from Chris Bubic. Very deceptive. And then Vinny Pasquantino, really a nice throw down under to Michael Massey. Tag easily.
There is Jason Bourgeois. his first season as the Orioles first base coach. He'd been with the White Sox previously. Mostly new coaching staff for the Orioles under first-year manager Craig Albernaz. Popped up, foul ground. And Pasquantino's there, inning over. It is another tidy inning and a scoreless one for Bubic. At the park and enjoy an off-leash tailgate at the Hall of Fame Pavilion. Get you and your dog-themed tickets at Royals.com/bark. And all the good boys and girls will be here.
I think we're going to set a record for the canines this year at Bark at the Park.
There were a good amount of dogs at the first Bark at the Park, even though the weather was challenging. 233 dogs.
Big number.
Yeah. So beat that on May 6th. 1-1 on Salvador Perez. Another one rolled to short. It's been a busy night for Gunnar Henderson. One away.
Yeah, that ground out from Salvador Perez, almost a carbon copy of his first at-bat when he grounded out to Henderson.
That is now 4 putouts for Henderson tonight. Now Jensen, he doubled his first time up and scored the Royals' only run. Would not be surprising if Jensen did not see all that many fastballs.
Yeah, he really turned on that good inside fastball in this last at-bat.
Been meaning to ask you this. Young catchers, how do you get on the same page with them as a pitcher? How do you learn each other?
Yeah, that can be challenging at times because sometimes I think they don't maybe have the feel for you. You don't have the feel for them up to this point. And so many things are essentially predicated on the scouting report. So sometimes the pitcher may have a different feel for what he should be doing, and the catcher's going with that scouting report, and they don't always mesh up until you have some repetitions together, and then you figure things out.
Carter's the DH tonight. He caught Seth Lugo last night. Lugo has the pitch calm, so he's calling his own game. It's a little bit different from your playing days.
I've said many times, especially like with Mike McFarland, who caught me a lot. Before the ball was back from the catcher, from Mac, I knew exactly what sign he's putting down.
Another one to right field from Carter Jensen. He slams on the brakes. Thought about it. But he'll settle for a 2-for-2 night with a double and now a single.
This one's a knuckle curve, wasn't a fastball, but hit it at about the same place, just not quite maybe as hard. I felt like he probably could have made it to second base.
Another one to right field from Carter. That's sent deep to the left field corner. Long run, Taylor Ward. It's a fair ball. And it rattles around. And Jensen gets to third. Opposite field double for Michael Massey. And there are 2 in scoring position.
Well, the Royals is hitting, starting to take advantage of that knuckle curveball hanging up in the middle part of the zone. And Michael Massey goes the other way after Jensen had gone down the right field line. Michael Massey shoots one to left. So nice to have a couple opportunities here. Drive in some runs for Jack Caglio.
It was a first pitch ground out for Jack Caglione, his first time up. He does enter tonight in the midst of a 6-game hitting streak. 8 for 23, a double, a triple, a homer in that span. He's been locked in and hitting the ball hard.
Well, he's been scorching the baseball, and that's what you really want to see, especially from a young player really trying to establish himself as a force in the American League.
Homered last night, his first homer of the year. Let's take a look at our Xfinity player profile. We talk about hitting the ball hard. This is major league leaders in average exit velocity. Jack Caglione is 5th on that list. He is averaging a hard hit ball so far this season. Now here's why that matters. This year, on average, hard hit balls, anything 95 or above, players are hitting 465 on those types of batted balls. On not hard hit balls, below 95, 233 average. Big difference.
Major difference. Point
being, you hit the ball hard more often than not, law of averages, you're going to have a lot of success.
And Jack hit the ball hard last year and didn't have a lot to show for it, but he also got himself out a lot by being too aggressive at the plate. Much different this year.
Stays alive, 1-2. It's in these spots where we've seen tags maybe tighten a little bit. Bases loaded, runners in scoring position. But he has the ability to slow the game down. And he comes up empty on the knuckle curve. That was a good pitch from Shane Baz.
Yeah, one of the best he's thrown this inning. Take another look at this strikeout pitch on that knuckle curve ball. It's strike to ball pitch. It's a pitcher's pitch. Begins in the zone, finishes below the zone, and very difficult for hitters to do much at all with that. Best you can do is probably hit a ground ball.
Second straight inning, the Royals have had runners on second and third and 2 outs. It's up to Isaac Collins. Popped up, and Henderson is there. Inning over. 2 more stranded in scoring position. House rally cam. Sun is almost down behind Kauffman Stadium. Another beautiful night for baseball back home. 9-1-2 for the Orioles. Blaze Alexander is one of 2 batters that Chris Bubic has struck out tonight.
Well, Chris Bubic has done exactly what you wanted, hoped, needed him to do after giving up the 3 spot there in the second inning. That's come out and potentially put himself in a position for a quality start. Put it behind him and then have those 3 or 4 good, solid innings following.
2-1 now on Alexander. Now Bubic has gotten back in the zone, especially with first pitch strikes. Look at that difference. This is since the beginning of the 3rd inning. 8 batters faced 7 first pitch strikes, and look at the results.
Right, exactly. I mean, it doesn't take a lot to understand that. The key is going out and executing those first pitches, and obviously Chris Bubic has made an adjustment since that early part of the ball game.
He only needed 7 pitches in the 3rd inning through 12 pitches in the 4th inning. He wound up facing the minimum in both innings, thanks to both a ground ball double play and a pickoff caught stealing. .70 total pitches for Bubic tonight. And there is a leadoff walk. And that is despite a first pitch strike.
Another one of those inside fastballs that he just missed with, and you gotta hope this one doesn't come back to haunt.
Yeah, he's not happy. I am not an expert lip reader, but I think you could make an educated guess. Taylor Ward wants to challenge.
Pitch was a strike, the batter's challenging.
ABS powered by T-Mobile. High for ball one.
Balls overturned. Baltimore still has 2 challenges remaining.
So a good eye from Taylor Ward. I was talking to him earlier today. He was curious what he thought about going from the West Coast to the East Coast, Angels to Orioles. His family's on the East Coast, so now they get to actually watch the games and tune in instead of having to go to sleep. And he was also talking a lot about how proud he is of his pitch selection so far this season. He's already walked once tonight, walked twice yesterday, 16 walks and only 18 strikeouts for Taylor Ward, a guy who's also got a ton of power in his bat.
Yeah, very rare combination. But you can see, when he challenged that first pitch, a lot of that happens when you have the ability to make good swing decisions. You don't chase, you don't get yourself out on pitchers' pitches, and if you're able to identify those pitches early and lay off them, you're going to have success.
Soft bouncer. Wits there, quick shovel, quick relay, not in time. So the Royals get one. And that was about as quick as their hands could have been.
Yeah, no doubt. I was thinking Bobby may have just stepped on the bag and gone himself to first base. Take another look at it here. Bobby may not have been able to get to second base ahead of the runner.
See Alexander there going to second base head first.
Yeah.
That's the second time that I've seen that in the last week or so. Jazz Chisholm Jr. did that too in New York, and I thought it was kind of strange. There's another one to the left side. Race to the bag. Garcia wins it. Double play. We've seen that a couple of times from the Gold Glover.
What an outstanding way to end that fifth inning.
Well, hold on a minute. Do the Orioles want to take a look at this? Now, you may remember in Atlanta that the Royals got away with a double play like that where Garcia made the throw before he stepped on the base.
Baltimore is challenging the safe call at second base and first base.
Now, when you do challenge a play like this, you challenge every aspect of the play, which is why the Orioles are challenging both out calls, though no doubt Craig Albernaz specifically wants to look at second base. And did Garcia hit the bag before he let go of the throw? And yeah, it looks like that ball's out of his hand before his foot's on the base. And the Royals are coming back onto the field. This did happen in Atlanta, but the Braves did not challenge, even though they maybe should have at that point. And Garcia got away with it.
I would say this one's very clear and convincing.
Need those spikes to be a little longer. Shame of it is that he had plenty of time.
Exactly. Lots of time.
Now, make no mistake, it's not an easy play. He's the third baseman playing in the shift there with a lefty at the plate. And he did have to run a long way to second base, but it's not as if Taylor Ward was.
After review, the call at second base is overturned. The runner is safe. The runner at first base is confirmed out. Baltimore will retain their challenge.
So ultimately, the Royals do get an out. Even though Garcia let go of the ball before he touched second, he still gets Henderson at first. It's not the most conventional 5-3 put out, but Sometimes it's not the double plays you turn, but the ones you don't, and it's up to Bubic now to bear down and strand Taylor Ward.
Right. This is a situation I've talked about a number of times where the pitcher sometimes has to make up for the mistake that's made on the field behind him. In other words, get yourself out of this inning, hopefully with the low pitch count.
That is a good point, Monty. It does mean extra pitches for Bubic in this inning. And if you want to zoom out a little bit, this was a 12-inning game last night. Both teams used a bunch of arms out of the bullpen. Neither bullpen is fresh. And so the longer your starter can go, the better spot you'll find yourself in later in this game. Salvi wants to challenge.
Pitcher's called a ball, the catcher's challenge.
ABS powered by T-Mobile.
Calls overturned, Kansas City Stars 2,000.
Nobody has been better at ABS challenges as a catcher than Salvador Perez.
It's almost as though he's done that a few times.
He is an ABS wizard. Still 0-2 on Rutschman.
I find it comical. Now you're seeing a lot of fans in the stands that are going to their hats on pitches that they think are miscalled by the umpire at home plate.
That is a whole new kind of umpire jeer,
Yeah.
right? Kyle Isbell's got it lined up. Inning over. Bubic does in fact strand Taylor Ward, despite the fact that it took a few extra pitches. Fans to the K on May 9th and receive a Nickelodeon Night Slime jersey giveaway. Grab your tickets at royals.com/promotions. Whatever you do, don't say, "I don't know." That'll get you slimed.
My grandchildren would probably have that very well rehearsed.
Your kids, too.
Yes.
Kyle Isbell to lead off the bottom of the fifth. Shane Baz has bent but not broken over the last couple innings. Each of the last two innings, the Royals have had runners on second and third. But each of the last two innings, they have remained there. That's into the twilight. Kobe Mayo's having a little trouble finding it, and he hops onto the tarp.
Probably like to have another chance at this one. Just didn't get over quick enough to the tarp and then had to take the lunge at the end. So Kyle Isbell fortunate to still be alive.
That was kind of funny looking. Well, at least he can laugh at himself. 1-1. 1-2. That was kind of like one of those moments in a video game where you see the video game character and MLB The Show, maybe from years past, at the very last second just lunge because of a lag or something.
Now he's blaming it on the lights.
Yeah. So Rutschman tried to snap that knuckle curve down.
Take a look here. Sean Baz is still heavy on that four-seam fastball. Opponents have been very successful in that pitch this year, hitting well over 1,000 OPS against it, but tonight it's had some success.
See Rutschman try to frame it again. The art of framing is not lost in the era of ABS. Bounce down the third base line, a fair ball. Another hit for Kyle Isbell. Ward digs it out in foul territory. Izzy's got a lead-off double.
Kyle Isbell got to feel really good about this. He goes from a pop out to the first baseman that's not caught to now a double down the left field line. That ball just traveled, and he fortunately had enough to react, hit it down the line.
What do you think? It seems like Izzy has done such a good job, especially this season, staying back on those breaking balls and taking them the other way.
We've seen that a lot this year, so that's a big adjustment for him.
I feel like we saw it a good amount in the second half last year, too. So, all right, here we go. Runner on second base, nobody out. Got to get him in. Two on Garcia.
Got a four-seam fastball. I don't think Rutschman was looking for that. He would have not even got leather on it. Unfortunately, foul ball. Otherwise, the umpire would be down at this stage.
See, they're laughing about it because Garcia made contact. Rutschman saying that might be my favorite foul ball ever. And Shane Box is thinking, come on, man.
Rutschman says, what's the difference between a fastball and an off-speed pitch? Didn't the pitch come tell you that?
All the same, no balls, 2 strikes on Garcia. He's 0 for 2 tonight with a sharp line out and a strikeout. And he sends it to the gap in left center. A base hit with a runner in scoring position. Isbell's in. 1-run game.
Well, Maikel Garcia is going to continue his hot hitting here at Kauffman Stadium. He's getting a breaking ball right in the middle part of the strike zone, so did exactly what good hitters do. Wait on it, serve it into the gap.
And now he's at first with nobody out for Bobby Witt Jr. No swing, ball 1. Bobby doubled his last time up. It was a hustle double. He had a bunch of those last year when he led the majors in doubles. He can get to second base so quickly. He did it in less than 8 seconds last time around. Because I'm insane, Monty, I went back and watched every single one of his doubles from last year. I counted 9 that were hustle doubles.
That's
kind of like that one.
And that's awesome. That's why he's the player he is.
That's a spinner to first. Mayo thought about second, race to the bag, and he just barely gets there before Bobby Witt Jr. It works as a productive out.
I think that went off the end of his bat. He had some spin on it. Mayo almost made the ill-advised throw to second base, and had he done so, probably would have got no outs.
He has played more third base in his career than first base. He's at first tonight with Pete Alonso serving as the Orioles' designated hitter.
Good chance for Benny, a little redeemer right here. Chance to tie up this baseball game.
He grounded out to end the 3rd inning and stranded a pair in scoring position.
I think, like I mentioned last night, the Orioles are really making an effort to stop runners from taking that extra 90 feet. A lot of pickoff attempts, a lot of throwback behind the pickoff from the catcher.
Garcia takes off for 3rd. Rutschman throws low. Wilson had to bring his glove up. And so Garcia got in underneath it. That was aggressive.
That was very aggressive. I like it, when you find a way to get that extra 90 feet, you take it. Michael's really good at getting third base. Tremendous jump. Good throw from Rutschman there, just a little low.
If that throws a little higher and Wilson's able to bring his glove down instead of up, that ball beats Garcia to the bag.
Different story.
Infield in for the Orioles. Now, there have not been a lot of hits with runners in scoring position for Vinny Pasquantino. But while the hits have not come, he has better lately had the productive outs. He has 8 RBIs this season with runners in scoring position, but only 3 hits. It's thanks to a couple sacrifice flies, some RBI groundouts. That's all it takes right now with 1 out to tie this game.
And 2 years ago in this situation, Vinny was as good as anybody in baseball. In fact, I think he has a Royals record from that year on runner in third, less than 2 outs, driving in those runs. Last year, he was disappointed that he did not follow that up with a stellar year, but he's primed to do it again this year.
Muscled into left. Garcia's ready. Ward's ready. Here's the throw. Garcia's safe. This game is tied. Sacrifice fly, Vinny Pasquantino. And tonight the Royals are doing the little things.
Yes, RJ, got to feel good for Vinny right there. That situation he really, really wanted and needed to drive in Michael Garcia. Outstanding, really disciplined as far as the ability to get tagged up, score that run.
How about that slide, too? Michael Garcia got that back foot across the tiniest corner of the top of the plate.
I was afraid he didn't touch the plate when I first saw the replay.
Henderson scoops another grounder, and Salvi's 0 for 3. That ends the inning, but the Royals manufacture runs to tie the game. Leadoff double, RBI single, stolen base, sacrifice fly, tied at 3. After Vinny Pasquantino's sacrifice fly, Michael Garcia slid home and just barely, Monty, just barely got the plate.
Yeah, I'm glad you saw this because I didn't see that last little touch on the corner of home plate.
He gets it with the instep of his left foot.
Game of inches.
Look at this. That's all you need.
Yeah.
That's a great shot. You can even see some of the dirt that was left over on that front corner. It's Pete Alonso to lead off the 6th. And a first pitch fly ball into right center. Jack Caglione peels off, and Kyle Isbell makes the catch.
Communication. Key to playing the outfield. Communication. Got to hear him.
That's what Chris Bubic is looking for, though. Quick outs. He has been much sharper since his 38-pitch second inning. That's when the Orioles got all 3 of their runs. He's now thrown 85 total pitches. Bubic 38 pitches in the second inning. 44 pitches otherwise tonight entering this 6th inning.
And I can tell he feels much more confident out there, not taking much time at all between pitches. Earlier in the game, the second inning particularly, he was a little unsure of himself. A lot of time just barely getting pitches in before that pitch clock.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Jeremiah Jackson. On the ground to third, and Garcia's got it. 2 outs, and that is a milestone out for Chris Bubic. He has now thrown 500 career innings. Hot Corner tells you 40th pitcher in Royals history to reach 500 career innings.
And they just threw the baseball out, so he must have had some idea what was going on.
That is quite an accomplishment for a pitcher that made only 3 starts a few years ago and then needed Tommy John surgery, and then came back and pitched out of the bullpen, so not nearly as many innings there. Last year, that truncated season, all-star first half, but missed most of the second half with a shoulder injury. Well, Chris has been through a lot, and that is a plateau worthy of celebrating.
It really is. And we've seen every pitch he's ever thrown, and just to see the growth and the development, because early in his career he had some flashes of brilliance, but you really never saw the guy that was consistently going out there giving his team a really good chance to win baseball games. Last year an all-star, and we're seeing a nice outing here tonight, really, especially after that second inning with the 3-run home run, getting back in, giving his team a chance to win a baseball game.
This has been an impressive start for Bubic, all things considered. Of course, you don't want to give up the 3-run homer. You don't want to throw 38 pitches in the second inning, but he's really borne down, and 1 more strike, he's got a quality start. Not sure that you would have expected that outcome with the way the second inning unfolded.
Well, he's at 92 pitches right now, and you would have expected many more pitches that after we saw in that second inning.
2-2 on Weston Wilson. Full count. Bubic's 122nd career game, his 85th career start. Every single pitch in a Royals uniform in all 7 of his big league seasons. Still 3-2 on Wilson, who is proving pesky once again.
He really is. Putting together some nice plate appearances.
That was the 20th foul ball from an Oriole hitter tonight. Well, Bubic's 95 pitches. Another 3-2. And this time Wilson shatters his bat on a foul ball. There's Nick Mears warming up in the bullpen.
Nick, one of the few pitchers we did not see last night.
Matt Quatrero did say post-game that Mears, not injury related, was more or less unavailable last night. It was an emergency only. But that is a fresh arm. That's a good point, given everybody that pitched last night. Strom, Urseg, Lynch, Schreiber, and Lang. 9th pitch coming to Weston Wilson. Another foul ball.
Some hitters just have a knack for extending plate appearances, and certainly we're seeing that from Weston Wilson here tonight. A little bit of everything he's featured.
Can he put him away? Well, not yet, at least. Oh, look out, Mike.
He's
Thumbs
all right.
up. He's all right. Is the camera okay?
That was a little scary.
He doesn't know. We're going to find out. Got to keep your head on a swivel there, Mike. Wilson's fouled off 5 straight pitches. And make it 6 straight pitches. So Bubic is about to throw a 12th pitch to Wilson and his 100th pitch tonight.
I think if it weren't for Wilson, Bubic would have another inning left in him.
Yeah, no kidding. Wilson saw 9 pitches in the second inning, fouled off 3 in that plate appearance. Called strike 3. But Wilson wants to challenge.
Pitch is called a strike. The batter challenges.
Salvi seems to say that he thinks it was in there, and it was. Even when he doesn't challenge, Salvi's right. ABS powered by T-Mobile. Quality start for Chris Bubic tonight. Circa Sports and Properties, and by your local Kansas City Honda dealers. Dusk at Kauffman Stadium. Ball game tied at 3. Bottom of the 6th, and Carter Jensen leads off against Shane Baz on what is still a very windy night at Kauffman Stadium. Joe and John are holding down the fort out there in center, and those flags are hanging on for dear life in right. This is our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Michelle Miller-Farley from Raytown. If a Royals player hits a home run this inning, Michelle wins $1,400. If it's a grand slam, Michelle will win $25,000. Visit the QR code for more information on how you can be a Sonic Slam contestant. Good night, Monty, for Carter Jensen.
Yeah, it's really been good to see what he's able to do here, helping his team get back in a baseball game.
He's got a double, he's got a single, and now he's got a 3-1 count. And now he's got a walk. So Jensen is on to lead off the inning. This after Chris Bubic delivered a quality start. Bridget's got more.
Yeah, Jake, well, if you pay close attention, whenever a Royals starting pitcher's outing is done, they come out of the game, they're met in the dugout with the rest of the rotation. They all huddle around and chat for a bit. When I asked Chris Bubic about this camaraderie yesterday, he said, you'll see us in the dugout kind of talking over what we saw for the day or how we felt on a certain pitch or just anything. It could be something just funny as well, but that's really good feedback for us to kind of take into the next day and then take into our preparation. He said, for the starters, it's all about every night trying to pass the baton from one guy to the next. And when I asked pitching coach Brian Sweeney about this, he said that's a microculture within the team and it makes him a, quote, happy papa, he said, when they come together. They're building something that's really special, and I like that. I don't ever want to interfere with it.
Thank you very much, Bridget. Good stuff from Bubic and that rotation, and they have been quality a lot this year. That is the rotation's 13th quality start, and this is the 24th game of the season. So more than half the games that they've started, they've delivered at minimum 6 innings of 3-run ball. Fairly deep to center, and Leody Taveras backpedals. Jensen tags up from first, and the throw's offline. Good aggressive base running from Carter Jensen.
Jake, let's take a look at Chris Bubic and his formula for this quality start tonight. Maybe didn't start out in the second inning exactly the way he'd planned. All those pitches, had a couple walks in there, the 3-run homer, but then really turned into a different pitcher. I'm not sure if those starting pitchers, the camaraderie paid off, or Brian Sweeney had some words of wisdom, but he certainly really changed things up and went out and threw 4 blank innings after that second.
Now, it looks like after that home run, the thing he needed more of than anything else was saliva. Really gutsy start for Bubic. And he crossed the 500 inning plateau in the midst of it. Carter Jensen's aggressive base running puts him in scoring position as the potential go-ahead run. Good fastball from Boz. Kaggs is down swinging for a second time tonight.
He's got the good fastball, has that really superior rise on it. When he has a spin like that, he gets it really kind of letter high or above. Difficult for the hitters to lay off of, as evidence there by Jack Cagney.
He's been holding firm at 97.
Yeah, great fastball.
Most of the night. That knuckle curve looks a little bit tighter, a little bit sharper, maybe in the last handful of batters.
Well, I think with him, it's a field pitch. It's so different than that fastball that he uses to elevate up in the strike zone, changes that eye level.
There's a heater at 99.
And Boz has really evolved a little bit over the last couple years. He used to be primarily a fastball slider guy, and now he doesn't even throw the slider. He switched to the cutter as opposed to the slider. He's getting a lot of damage against his slider, which was one of his best pitches earlier in his career.
He got rid of that slider second half of last year. Now he's throwing that cutter more often, which is similar to the slider, but less break, higher velocity.
Right. It's a hard slider, some people refer to it as.
And he powers it past Collins to end the inning. That was at 99. And Jensen stranded at second. At 6 p.m. Central on Whataburger's social channels for a junior film about Bobby Witt Jr., celebrating the journey of a kid from Colleyville, Texas, the Kansas City Royals star we know today. Hosted by Whataburger's CMO Scott Hudler, the event will feature Bobby himself sharing stories about his career, family, and his love for Whataburger. Plus, some lucky Royals fans will have a chance to ask Bobby some questions. So tune in Wednesday, 6 o'clock Central. Nick Mears enters the game. He enters in a tie game. 9th outing of the season for Mears. He gets the bottom third of the Oriole lineup.
Big opportunity here for Mears to establish himself. Had his ups and downs early in the season. Primarily four-seam fastball and a slider pitcher. Slider's really been a pitch that hitters have done the most damage against, hitting over 400 against that slider.
There's a good curveball, 0-2. Mears has allowed at least a run in each of his last 2 appearances. Both came in that series in Detroit. He has a chance in this inning to preserve the tie. Stay with me here, Monty. This is something that I've been keeping an eye on with relievers so far this season. Keeping a game tied. That's golf to right, stays up for Jack Caglione, 1 away. So relievers enter in various points of leverage, low, medium, high. When a reliever enters with a lead of at maximum 3 runs and keeps that lead, they get a hold, right? Basically kind of like a save, except it's not at the end of the game. And of course, a save, 3-run lead or less, you end the game, you get a save. But if a reliever enters in a tie game and keeps the game tied, there's nothing really that designates that happened. And I would make the argument that this specific situation, tie game, late in the game, is higher leverage than if, say, Mears were entering with the Royals up by 3.
Right.
And trying to maintain that lead.
I do not disagree with you.
So that's right from Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery's mouth. 304 career saves. I don't know how many, I'll call it preservations, that you had, but no doubt you entered in a tie game a time or two. And the best that you can do as a reliever in that spot is keep the game tied.
Keep it tied. You hopefully keep it tied and are rewarded with a win when your team scores the following inning.
So with the help of a couple of Royals media relations trainees, Owen and Ryan, we've been keeping track of Royals preservations so far this season. That is a reliever entering a tie game, 6th inning or later, and keeping that game tied. So far this year, Mears is 2 for 2. Just food for thought. The best so far for the Royals is, and this will not surprise you given what we saw last night, Daniel Lynch IV. He is 3 for 3 in his preservation opportunities, keeping a game tied 6th inning or later.
I would have guessed that from the way we've seen from Daniel Lynch this season.
Soft grounder to short. Bobby gets rid of it quickly, and Kobe Mayo's out. Now a message from UMB Private Wealth.
Am I saving enough for retirement?
Do I have a clear financial plan?
Get financial clarity. Schedule an appointment today.
Chris Bubic had 3 strikeouts in his 6 innings. Nick Mears would not mind a K to end this inning. If he does wind up with a strikeout, that would be 4 total for the Royals tonight. And when the Royals get 10 or more strikeouts, you save big. Get a free item the next day at Price Chopper.
I like Mears' approach here. He's really kind of staying out of the middle. And I mentioned that slider is a pitch he likes to go to, but he stayed out of the strike zone with that for the most part, and then climbing the ladder with that fastball.
He overthrew that fastball a little bit. Is that how you would describe it, when a righty kind of yanks that fastball outside?
I would say more typically, if you overthrow it, it's going to go more arm side.
Right back to him. He's got it. And Nick Mears preserves the tie. A 1-2-3 7th inning. Due up in the bottom of the 7th. Kyle Isbell, Michael Garcia, Bobby Witt Jr. with this game tied at 3. Royals baseball is presented by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, and by FanDuel Sportsbook. Play your game. Tied at 3, bottom of the 7th. The Royals have done the little things, Monty, much, much better tonight. Sure, they've stranded a handful, but in that 5th inning, leadoff double, RBI single, stolen base, sacrifice fly, tie game.
I would call this a typical Royal style of baseball up to this point.
It was Kyle Isbell who had the leadoff double back in that 2-run 5th inning. One and 2. '87 pitches now for Shane Baz. He's now completed 6 innings in each of his last 2 starts. Did not miss by much. 2 and 2. Double barrel action for the Orioles in the bullpen. Lefty Grant Wolfram, apropos on the left. Righty Rico Garcia, appropriately on the right. I think they do that on purpose.
It's different with these large bullpen mounds. It used to be the righty would have to be on the right and the lefty on the left. Otherwise, you would collide.
Maybe they just want to look at each other while they're warming up. Into right center. Alexander's over, and it's over his head. A 3-hit night for Kyle Isbell. Another leadoff double. And the Royals have the potential go-ahead run in scoring position.
Single into third, double into fifth, and now here in the bottom of the seventh, a leadoff double for Kyle Isbell, and that curveball. We've seen Boss leave that curveball up. If he does, it's not necessarily flammable like Hud might say, but some damage should be done against it.
Each of the 2 doubles from Isbell came on that knuckle curve.
Yeah.
So Michael Garcia gets to face Shane Baz a 4th time in tonight's game. Out of Rutschman's mid, and Isbell gets to third. Go-ahead run 90 feet away.
I don't think he got crossed up. I think he just missed it. Paul was up, and Kyle Isbell able to advance an extra 90 feet on the, I'm assuming, pass ball, but maybe a wild pitch.
Scored a wild pitch, but I thought the same as you. Usually when you see it hit the glove first like that, it's a pass ball. Either way, it's 90 feet, and the infield comes in. Garcia brought Izzy home in the 5th with an RBI single. I'll be honest, Monty, given the success that the Orioles bullpen has had, I'm a little surprised that Craig Albornaz has not gone to the bullpen and is instead having Shane Baz face the top of the Royals lineup a 4th time.
Yeah, that's very rare to see a 4th time through a lineup for any pitcher nowadays.
You know, especially one of the arms they have down there, righty Rico Garcia. You know, sure, he pitched yesterday through 16 pitches, but he is not allowed a hit this season. You'd think this would be a spot where the Orioles would want him in the game.
He's been perfect. 11 innings, no hits. No runners that have been inherited have scored when he's gone into the game.
2-2. Yanked down and away.
He pulled that one. Got out of his mechanics a little bit. Pulled out to the left side.
Ball 4. Bat drop for Garcia. Runners on the corners for Bobby Witt Jr. And now Craig Albornaz comes out of the dugout. He has not made a point to the bullpen yet, even though the gate has swung open.
Baz is trying to talk him into staying out there.
From what we've seen in the game the last handful of years, it's really surprising. He's going to stay in there. Wow. He's going to stay in there to face Bobby Witt Jr. a 4th time. And all the while, Rico Garcia, who is not allowed a hit nor an inherited runner to score, is ready in the bullpen, and he stays behind that closed gate. Well, the Orioles have a lot of belief in Shane Baz. That's why they signed him to a 5-year extension the day after opening day this year. Runners on the corners with nobody out. The Orioles keep the infield in. Bobby's 1 for 3 tonight, including a sharp double in the 3rd inning. A lot of space on that right side, Monty.
Really is. Take advantage of it.
And Boz is pitching to a spot where Bobby could easily go with the pitch.
Right, and this is a situation where Bobby, he understands, can't try to do too much. Just do what you're capable of doing with what the pitcher gives you.
And he goes the other way. That's deep to right field, and deep enough to give the Royals the lead. Kyle Isbell is in, and the Royals are in front 4-3. You don't always need the big hit. Sometimes you just need the right kind of contact in the right situation. And Bobby Witt Jr. comes through against Shane Baz, who is left in to face him a 4th time. Brent Wolfram is coming in out of the Oriole bullpen.
How to play, Bobby Witt Jr. Take a look at the pitch sequence. Got the 4-seam fastball called strike to cutter off this plate, and he comes with the 4-seamer again. And Bobby Witt Jr. rewarded with the sac fly. Productive out from Bobby Witt Jr.
Now, Bobby said last night after the excruciating loss, everybody wants to get the big hit, and that the Royals had to go back to seeing pressure as the privilege that it is, to enjoy those moments and to know that if you don't get it done, the guy behind you will. But Bobby Witt Jr. got it done. He got it done with his sacrifice fly. 3 of the Royals' 4 runs tonight, Monty, have come on sacrifice flies.
Well, productive outs are good outs, so we'll take that anytime you can get it.
Vinny Pasquantino has one of those sacrifice flies. That's what initially tied the game in the 5th inning. And those are the kinds of productive outs, those run-scoring outs that have been missing. 11th appearance for Grant Wolfram. He did pitch last night. Wolfram wound up facing a handful of batters last night, allowed a hit, got a strikeout. He also hit a batter, but ultimately did not allow a run.
Wolfram features the good sinker, but that sweeper we've seen a lot. You have to give up a hit on a sweeper yet this year.
Could tell just by looking at Garcia that he was ready for Wolfram to throw over.
You could tell he's in their mind. Stole 3rd base earlier. He's a threat at any time, essentially.
This would not be the worst spot for him to be in motion. Were there certain counts that you were more aware as a pitcher that somebody might try and steal?
Not necessarily. I always felt like I'm going to give my focus, my attention on the batter. The guy standing on first base has already essentially beat me one time. I can't allow him to distract me and take away from my concentration on the batter. If I'm going to go to first base, I know when it comes set, I'm going to first base. And it's for intent. It's to show that you're going to do your best to keep that runner at bay.
Payoff pitch. Sounded like Pasquantino might have broken his bat. It's Fly ball to Alexander, 2 outs. It's a really interesting way to think about it. You're not going to let that player beat you twice,
right,
when they've already beaten you once.
They're standing over there for a reason, so do not be distracted by them.
The Royals have taken the lead in the 7th on a sacrifice fly from Bobby Witt Jr. And now Salvi gets to face the lefty Wolfram. Small sample size, but Wolfram has been fairly neutral this year. He was fairly neutral last year too, even though overall the results were not great last year.
Well, we've seen Salvador Perez hit the ball hard on the ground 3 times at shortstop, and love seeing him get a little elevation on one, hit in the gap, and drive in Michael Garcia here.
Over Wilson into the left field corner. Garcia turns on the Jets. Vance Wilson keeps him at 3rd. A double for the captain. 2 in scoring position.
Seems like things are starting to turn for this lineup now. Making some better swing decisions, putting the ball in play, making some things happen. Now a chance for a couple of very big insurance runs.
A double, a single, and a walk for Carter Jensen tonight. He scored the Royals' first run back in the 2nd inning. That's down the left field line. Long run for everybody, and it's Ward who grabs it in foul ground to end the inning. But the Royals take the lead on their 3rd sacrifice fly of the game, and they're in front for the first time tonight. Bobblehead, each in a different jersey. Be one of the first 20,000 fans on Friday, July 17th, Saturday, July 18th, or Sunday, July 19th, when the Royals host the Padres at Kauffman Stadium. Get your tickets at Royals.com/promotions. Bobby Witt Jr. just gave the Royals the lead with a sacrifice fly in the bottom of the 7th. And now it is Matt Strahm into the game in the 8th inning to protect that lead.
Did a great job last night, struck out the side. Love to see him have a similar outing here tonight. He got some experience in this situation. Doesn't seem to be affected one way or another by the leverage.
2 swinging strikeouts, 1 looking last night for Strahm, who wound up throwing 20 total pitches, 14 for strikes. Last night he faced the bottom 3rd of the Oriole lineup. Here in the 8th, he gets the top 3rd of the lineup. And there is the all-important strike 1. Only thing better than strike 1 is strike 2, right?
Strike 3.
Strike 3, yeah. Touche. Strike 3. The best possible strike.
How about that? Good morning, good afternoon, good night.
Taylor Ward did not take the bat off his shoulder.
Power on power. Power wins.
Strike one. He's coming right after him. That's the first breaking ball that Strom's thrown. Anderson's 0 for 3 tonight, a fly out and a couple of ground outs. And he carves it down the third base line. He got jammed, but he winds up with a double.
So frustrating for the pitcher. You feel like you've beat the hitter. You make a really quality pitch and jam him, and it's just almost like an accident. It's like an oops, and sure enough, ball finds some dirt. Fair ball, double down the line.
Potential tying run at second. Even Gunnar Henderson can't believe that that worked out the way it did. He was shaking his head. Fourth at bat for Adley Rutschman tonight in his return to the active roster. He'd been on the injured list the last 10 days. All 4 of his at bats tonight have come against lefties, and so he has only hit right-handed tonight. Early on this season, he had not had a ton of opportunities against left-handed pitching, but his numbers were better against righties. What do you think they're talking about?
Just wants to make sure they're on the same page and what they're trying to accomplish here. They know they have an open base. You don't want to put the go-ahead runner on, but you also don't want to give in here with that open base.
And Pete Alonso is on deck. Seemed like Rutschman was taken all the way.
He was. Strom's going to feature 4-seam fastball, slider, sinker, changeup, and cutter. Had a lot of success with that changeup, 4-seam fastball, and a slider this year.
Todd Rutschman way out in front with the changeup. Okay, so Monty, what do you do here?
Similar pitch. I mean, I would say it works once. You throw the same pitch as long as you execute it. It has to be a quality pitch. Got 2 pitches to work with right here. Don't give in.
Two and 2. And now the count's full. He did go back to the changeup.
That one had more of the cutting action instead of the fading action that he saw on strike 2.
Rutschman drives it deep to left field. Long run for Collins, and it's gone. And the Royals have squandered the lead in the top of the 8th inning. It's a go-ahead 2-run homer for Adley Rutschman. And it is hard to not feel like we have seen this story many times before.
You're right, and it's just unfortunate. You got a 3-2 count here. Pitch was on the outside part, but elevated. And that elevation really was a key for Rutschman to be able to get out and get that bat head in a position to drive this ball into the bleachers.
Is there a hex on the 8th inning?
It seems to be. Just unfortunate for this bullpen, and it's been a variety of pitchers who have had those same results.
And now Alonso lines it to the left field corner. That's just foul. The Royals have lost 8 consecutive games. In 6 of those games, the Royals have found themselves with a chance. 6 of those losses, they have allowed the go-ahead run to score in the 7th inning or later.
Those are the gut-wrenching losses that we've talked so much about.
It really seemed, and it is still possible, but it really seemed like the story was going to be different tonight. With the way the offense had manufactured runs in a way that we haven't really seen for the better part of the last week and a half.
Well, it's not too late. Still have 2 cracks at him.
No doubt. Oh, 2 on Alonso. He's now fouled off 4 consecutive pitches. To the right field corner. And that's over Caglianone's head and up against the wall. Alonso's into second. 3 straight hits for the Orioles against Matt Strahm after he struck out Taylor Ward with his first 3 pitches.
There's a changeup that's elevated. This is an 0-2 pitch, and he knew as soon as he let go that that ball's going to probably not be an out.
That's out of play. 0-1 on Jeremiah Jackson. And Eli Morgan is warming up in the bullpen. Unfortunately, he knows exactly what Matt Strahm feels like right now. It was Morgan who gave up an 8th inning home run in Detroit to Wenzel Perez. Two and one on Jackson, who's 1 for 3 tonight. It has been a rough start for this Royals bullpen. When it rains, it pours, and it has mostly poured. Worst ERA, worst whip, and lowest first pitch strike percentage of any bullpen this year.
Right, not the right recipe for success.
The home run that Strahm allowed was also the 14th home run that the Royals bullpen has allowed this season in now 24 games.
And it's amazing how various departments of your club, and one being the bullpen, when things are going good, it just seems like everyone follows. When not, it's contagious and everyone struggles.
And there's a walk to Jackson. Now, I was talking to Alex Lang about this today, because what you just observed, I feel like, is so true, especially of bullpens, that when a bullpen is going bad, it seems to consume the entire bullpen so much more frequently than an entire rotation or an entire offense. Did you get that sense in rough stretches that the entire bullpen was feeling it collectively?
Oh, without a doubt. And I've said this many times, but it normally starts at the top of the bullpen. And by the top, I'm talking about, I always say it's like a totem pole, right? Your closer's the guy at the top. And unfortunately, the Royals lost our closer after his first game in the season, game 2 of the year in Atlanta, right? And you lose that guy, and everyone now shifted up one notch in that totem pole, and it shuffles the deck.
Strike one on Weston Wilson, who has seen a bajillion pitches tonight and fouled off a million of them. Royals down 5-4 in the 8th after Adley Rutschman's go-ahead 2-run homer. So what are the ways, Monty, as a bullpen leader, outside of performance, that you can set the tone for a group?
Well, to me, it's all confidence. It's finding success, and then that confidence just kind of spills over. Everyone gets a taste of it, and then you get back into where you need to be.
That's down the left field line and hooked foul, 1-2.
But you have to have some success before you have the confidence. So it's really difficult to get there, and especially when all the eyes are on you, all the criticism is on you, and everyone's aware of it. I mean, I'm sure when this game goes into the 8th inning tonight, the 1-run lead, people are saying, okay, what's going to happen next? Because that's what really evolves once you get kind of this contagious situation where everyone's struggling.
There's another one foul. And it's up to the Royals offense now to pick up the pitching like they have earlier in this game when Bubic allowed a 3-run homer. The offense chipped away at that deficit. And it's something that Matt Quatrero has talked about, that the offense needs to come to the plate and believe and feel that the pressure is on the pitcher, not on them. Souvenirs for everybody tonight, thanks to Weston Wilson. That is the 12th foul ball off of his bat tonight.
That's an inning's worth of work.
And there's one in fair territory. And into Jack Caglione's mitt for the second out. It was an inning that started so promisingly, too.
Yeah.
Matt Strom, 3 pitches, a strikeout, and now he's thrown 30 pitches in this inning. Into foul territory. And a good out from Pasquantino ends the inning, but the damage is done. Go-ahead homer for Adley Rutschman, and the Royals are down by 1. The telecast is presented by the authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals. It is a different scenario than the Royals thought they might have been in the bottom of the 8th. They now trail the Orioles 5-4. And they face Rico Garcia, who has been the best reliever in baseball to this point. He has not allowed a hit in 11 innings. He has faced 37 batters, and none of them have a hit. He struck out 11. He's walked 4. Those 4 walks issued are the only base runners against Rico Garcia this year. He continued his streak yesterday with an inning. He did issue a walk. He did have a strikeout. Defensive change. Colton Cowser is now in right field. He's replaced Blaze Alexander. So here's the thing, Monty. Rico Garcia hasn't allowed a hit. He's due, right?
He's way overdue.
He's way overdue.
Game's not that easy.
Can't be. Nonetheless impressive. Did you ever, to your memory, have a stretch where you threw 9 consecutive hitless innings out of the bullpen? You had a bullpen no-hitter over a course of a period of time?
I think I had 29 consecutive outs.
That would count. There's a high drive deep to right field. Not only is it a hit, it's a homer, and it ties the game.
We just jinxed him.
As cathartic a swing as there could be. We're tied at 5 in the bottom of the 8th. Rico Garcia, invincible no more.
And sometimes when it rains, it pours. Take a replay on this. Change up right in the middle of that strike zone. Michael Massey comes through in a huge clutch swing there for the home run. Vinny's happy.
First homer of the year for Michael Massey, and it could not have come at a more opportune time. One gone in the 8th. So, everybody, unclench your jaw.
Take one more look at this beautiful swing. Michael Massey stayed back really nice. That's a changeup, and he's got a tremendous changeup as well. But Michael Massey did not jump out, try to get that ball, let it travel, then turned on it.
They knew it immediately, too.
It's like
Lucas Erceg is warming up.
He's going to look for a little redeemer himself here this evening.
Threw 32 pitches last night. And then the Orioles have Yennier Cano getting loose. Called strike 3 on Collins. Back-to-back Ks for Garcia. You know that he's well aware of the streak that he had to open the year. We talked about it. Michael Massey made it happen.
He did, and really a lot of credit to Michael Massey, because Rico Garcia's stuff up to this point this year has been unhittable, literally unhittable. And Michael Massey takes advantage of that one mistake changeup that he gets.
Three-hit night for Kyle Isbell, including a couple of doubles. He's also scored 2 runs. He scored in the 5th, and he scored what at the time was the go-ahead run in the 7th. Continues what's been a really good start to the year for Kyle Isbell. Off the end of the bat and over to third, and Isbell's out to end the inning, but the Royals have tied it. One big swing from Michael Massey.
What a swing it was. Royals needed this desperately.
When the Royals host the Seattle Mariners, celebrate with a brand new Out of This Galaxy Royals Grogu bobblehead with the purchase of a theme ticket. Visit Royals.com/Star Wars. Lucas Erceg looks for redemption in the top of the 9th inning. And tonight, he attempts to keep this game tied at 5 after Michael Massey's game-tying swing. Samuel Basallo pinch hits to lead off the top of the 9th inning for the Orioles. And so a rematch of a fateful at-bat last night. It was Basallo who in the 9th inning against Erceg had a 2-out, 2-strike game-tying single.
Pitcher's caught a ball. The catcher's challenging.
Salvi's challenging the pitch.
Yeah, it looked like a good changeup.
And it was a good changeup.
This is a strike. Kansas City has 2 challenging.
Salvi is now 3 for 3 tonight. Last night, Erceg really struggled with his command. 32 pitches, only 17 were strikes. He wound up walking 3 of the 6 batters that he faced.
I'm seeing the fastball still in the mid to upper 90s. That was a 97 fastball. The damage has been done a lot on his changeup, which a couple of years ago, I remember that changeup was a devastating pitch, almost unhittable against Lucas Erceg.
Leadoff walk. And now Colton Cowser bats for the first time. He was a defensive replacement the last half inning. And Matt Quatrero was asked about Erceg, understandably so, and his confidence in him. And Q said that when he talked to Lucas last night, he made sure that Lucas knew the level of confidence the Royals had in him. Said, hey, 1-run game, 9th inning, I'm still taking you 1,000,000 out of 1,000,000 times.
Well, and that's exactly what a manager has to do. He has to show that confidence in his troops. Now, it's up to the player, the pitcher, whoever it might be, to go out and give him good reason to have that confidence.
1-1. And I know you had the chance to see him a little earlier today. Closer to closer. What do you say?
I went to him and I said, look, Lucas, you got a long way to go before you catch me in the amount of games that you blow a lead in. You got a long way to go. We believe in you. He goes, I believe in myself as well.
304 career saves. 74 blown saves.
I know it was over 50. I can remember almost every one of them, too. I can't remember any of the 300 saves.
But it's the ones that didn't happen that stick with you, huh?
Exactly. I can remember the 3-run home run to Frank Thomas. I can remember the Harold Baines home runs. I can remember all those. You know, it's amazing how you remember the bad stuff and forget the good stuff.
Well, right now, for Lucas Erceg, he's got to block out all of that bad stuff noise.
Right. Two
2-2 on Cowser. High Hot shot to first. Vinny spears it. There's one out. Relay to first is in time. What a huge double play.
That's exactly what the doctor ordered for Lucas Urseg. That is amazing to make that pitch. Vinny, tremendous turn. Bobby was going to make sure that he got that ball to first in time.
That was 103 off the bat. And Vinny's playing in, holding the runner, too. That was outstanding. Two 2-0 on Taylor Ward. And he popped it up. Michael Massey's there. Inning over. Lucas Urseg preserves the tie. And now it's Michael Garcia, Bobby Witt Jr., Vinny Pasquantino due up in the bottom of the ninth.
Hey, the 13th quality start by the team set up by Bubic. Nice work.
All right, we'll talk about Bubic, Michael Massey, and hopefully a walk-off that coming up on Royals postgame, guys.
All right, Joel Hud, thanks very much. If it's a walk-off in this inning, it'll happen against Ryan Helsley, who does have 6 saves in 6 tries, though this is not a save situation in a tie game. Top of the lineup against Helsley, Garcia, Witt, Pasquantino. Samuel Basayo, who pinch hit, remains in the game at first base. He was excellent behind the plate last night.
He really was. And closer Helsley's outstanding fastball, good slider and curveball to go along with it.
This is, by the way, just Basayo's 2nd game at first base this series, but they had all of 2 innings over there. Something to file away. Five runs on 10 hits for the Royals tonight. They've gotten 3 of their 5 runs on sacrifice flies. Ball 4. Leadoff walk. Michael Garcia. Emphatic.
Really good eye at the plate there. Took advantage of the Helsley fastball off the plate.
The potential winning run is on first base.
Patience the key here for Bobby Witt Jr. Get a pitch you can drive. Get a good hitter's pitch.
That was one to take out. That slider stayed up. A little bit too up, 1-1.
A really good take right there.
He said it last night. Pressure is a privilege. And he said that the Royals needed to remember that.
Should get a good pitch to hit here.
He knows that the real pressure is on Helsley. Ball 4. Rutschman challenges.
This was a ball Baltimore challenges.
Confirmed ball.
Ball confirmed. Baltimore is out of challenges.
Back-to-back walks from Helsley. All they need is one. All they need is one in order to hear a different Beatles song. Meanwhile, Helsley has now thrown 12 pitches, and only 3 of them have been strikes.
Got to make him come in your strike zone.
Another one inside. Three balls, no strikes.
Now you can take a couple here if you need to. Get that go-ahead runner over to third base somehow, some way.
With Garcia's speed, all it takes is a hit. Now it's a full count.
Vinny's got a big hole in that shortstop area. A lot of room. Good fastball from Helsley. He could easily punch that ball through.
Everybody is locked in right now at Kauffman Stadium.
Somewhat intense.
Could understand why. Payoff pitch. That gets away from Rutschman. Pasquantino strikes out, but both runners advance. And so now second and third, one out for Salvador Perez. He has been in a situation like this a time or two. This is on this date in 2021. A walk-off single down the line. And what a familiar sight that was for Salvador Perez.
We've seen it many times before, but I don't know that the captain will get a lot of hittable pitches in this situation with first base open.
Well, that was the other question. Do they even pitch to him?
I was surprised when they didn't put him on automatically.
Or maybe they're talking it over and deciding if that's what they want to do. That's the pitching coach, Drew French, with the entire infield.
We know Salvador Perez loves to be in this situation.
10 career walk-offs. 11 if you include the postseason. Infield in for the Orioles. And they might not throw much in the zone, but they are going to pitch to him. Swing mode, right?
He's definitely in swing mode.
Out in front, 0-2. th career plate appearance for Salvador Perez. So many of them in big moments.
Well, we talked about all those nice blocks last night by Paseo. That's nothing bigger than that one right there by Rutschman.
1 ball, 2 strikes on Salvador Perez. Potential winning run at third. How to play. Salvi last night said that you can go one of 2 ways in the midst of a stretch like this. You can either keep going down, or you can be a better player. Go back up. You know which direction Salvador Perez chooses. Here comes Garcia. Nobody's covering home. The Royals win. Wow. On a wild pitch, the Royals flush their frustration. And finally, it's a 1-run win.
And it's a 1-game winning streak, Jake. What a way to win a baseball game.
After seeing all the bounces and all the breaks and all the moments go in the other direction for the last 8 games, the Royals get a bounce their way.
What a gutsy call right here by Michael Garcia. That's pure instincts. Just pure instincts right there.
A perfect read, a perfect slide, and a moment that everybody needed.
He's got to get that good secondary lead, got his momentum going toward home, and sure enough, as soon as that ball's in the dirt, he is going. No doubt about it.
Garcia scored 2 runs tonight, including the game winner. He's down on the field with Bridget.
All right, well, Michael, Vinny Pasquantino has said that it was just 1 pitch, 1 hit away for this group. But for you, it was 1 wild pitch away for you to finally break this streak, losing streak for the Royals. Walk me through that moment.
Yeah, it's a long season. We can't give up, and you know we have a great team, and just anticipate the wild pitch. We know he throw a lot of slider in the dirt, so I was ready for it.
Thank you for that. All right, Michael, just with the way that this team has been playing of late, how much did this group need this win?
We need it so much, you know. We've been frustrated for, we've been losing a lot of games. So, well, we just keep working and have to go there and compete, you know. There is a long season, like I say, and we have to get ready and just get to the playoffs. That's what we want.
Bobby Witt Jr. told us last night that pressure is a privilege. How has this group embraced that?
I mean, it's good to play with pressure. We deserve that. Like we don't play well, but we have to just go there and keep going.
Michael, congratulations. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Bridget, thanks very much. What a read from Michael Garcia, and he's right, Monty. It's a long season. You can't give up.
You cannot, and I think this team is going to feel so much better. And sometimes when you have a game like this, the game is back and forth, that Massey home run was huge. They manufactured some runs earlier, but for Lucas Erceg to get that ground ball, get out of that inning, and then just let things fall into place, and then the way that it ending, don't see that very often. You'll take it any way you can get it.
3 sacrifice flies, a game-tying home run, a walk-off win on a wild pitch. At long last, a 1-run win that snaps an 8-game slide. Boy, did they need it. Thanks for joining us. For Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery and Bridget Howard, I'm Jake Eisenberg. Royals postgame, presented by Price Chopper, with Joel and Hutt is next.